All right, so I rewatched Spectre, and I think this is the movie where something finally clicked for me. And it's something I've been getting wrong for years. I used to think I hated Daniel Craig as Bond, like genuinely hated him in the role. I remember watching his Bond movies when they came out and thinking, nope, this isn't it, this isn't Bond, this feels wrong. And I carried that feeling for a long time. I blamed him for why these movies weren't landing for me. But watching Spectre now with a bit more distance, I realized something. I don't think I ever hated Daniel Craig. I think I just don't really like James Bond. I think I respect James Bond, but I don't really love it. Because here's the thing, Craig actually works. He really does. When he's on screen, I buy him as James Bond immediately. He looks right, he moves right, and he has this quiet intensity where you believe this guy could walk into a room and fuck shit up. Physically, emotionally, presence wise, the dude's solid. He's grounded. He feels dangerous in a believable way, more dangerous than any Bond before him, I gotta say that. And yet, I'm watching this movie and I'm bored. Like, not irritated or angry, but just, casually, slowly drifting away. And that's when it hit me. If Craig works and I'm not enjoying myself, then maybe the problem wasn't Daniel Craig after all. Maybe it's Bond. Because Spectre really wants you to take this movie seriously. Every scene feels heavy, every pause feels deliberate, every look feels like it's saying, this matters, pay attention. And after a while, that constant seriousness, for me, it just turns into fatigue. I don't like that. The movie keeps telling me that what I'm watching is important, but I never quite feel it. Take the opening in Mexico City. Technically, it's impressive. It looks great. The long take, the crowd, the skull masks, the helicopter fight. It's slick, it's expensive, it's also extremely controlled, but I like it. But emotionally, I didn't feel anything. It felt more like watching a luxury fashion commercial where something violent occasionally happens in the background. I was waiting for a perfume bottle to pop up anytime. Craig is doing exactly what his version of Bond asks of him the whole time. He's quiet, he's distant, he's controlled. And the movie seems to think that restraint automatically equals engagement, but for me, it really doesn't. Bond, at least in my head, always worked best when there was contrast. I think that's how it works for most people watching Bond. When there's danger mixed with charm, when there was confidence rubbing up against absurdity. Spectre doesn't want that. Spectre doesn't need that. Spectre wants gravitas and it wants it all the time. Spectre doesn't have that charm. And here's where I'm going to go against the usual complaints, because this part actually surprised me. I think Spectre has one of the best Bond theme songs ever. I know people hate it. I've heard the arguments. Too slow, too sad, too miserable. But Sam Smith is doing a wonderful job. It feels wounded and exposed. And honestly, that fits this version of Bond better than most teams ever did. If anything, the score understands Greg's Bond more than the movie itself does. And that kind of sums up my whole experience with Spectre. Even the villain, which should have been the emotional payoff, it just didn't land for me. Blofeld is introduced like he's supposed to be this deeply personal figure, like everything was secretly about Bond all along. And my honest reaction was it though? Really? Was it? Because the movie keeps telling me there's history there, but it never actually makes me feel it. I couldn't see it. That connection feels assembled after the fact, like it was designed to sound meaningful instead of something that grew naturally. And again, this isn't Craig's fault. If anything, he looks exhausted and not in a cool, haunted type of way, in a how long is this going to keep going type of way. By the time the movie reached the third act, I realized something that's probably the worst thing you can feel while watching a movie like this. I wasn't rooting for James Bond. I wasn't rooting against him either. I just wanted this movie to be over. And that's when it finally made sense. Spectre isn't terrible. It's not embarrassing. It's not a disaster. It's not bad, not at all. But it is really cold. It is extremely polished and it's emotionally very distant. And maybe that's when I finally understood my own reaction. Maybe I don't actually love Bond movies. Maybe I just love the idea of Bond, the icon, the myth, the music, the suits. Maybe I like that more than I enjoy sitting down and watching the films themselves. So, yeah, I used to think Daniel Craig was the problem. Turns out he isn't. Watching Spectre again made me realize, yeah, he isn't the problem. Bond just doesn't hit for me. And honestly, realizing that was more interesting than the movie itself.